We're moving on to the boat? Yeah, it's today.
It's about a 5-hour drive from Charlotte, North Carolina to Darien, a tiny historic town on the marshy coastal wetlands of southern Georgia. The boat, whose name right now is Lolo and Jack, was docked in a little marina along the old wharf front across from the ruins of the storehouses and taverns that were the engine of the town back in the early 1800s. We had loaded up the car the day before with bedding and provisions and things to make the boat feel more like home, and got to work hauling it all down to the dock and setting up shop. It was my first time back on the boat since the very first day that we came to see it, which made it my second time on the boat ever. When I saw it the first time, it was full of someone else's things, and it was really hard to imagine it as ever really being ours. I'd love to say that I was just super excited and overwhelmed with the possibilities and all of that, but, we were just moving on to this out of our apartment, and we still had this very daunting, 500 nautical mile trip ahead of us, so it was all really kind of anxiety-inducing. But here we are, and we're getting it loaded.
It might not look it, but it is hot and muggy, and I am moist. Actually, it's fine. It feels really good to be on the boat.
Like a super pointy, sharpie thing.
Our plan for the rest of the day was just to do a few quick and easy things to put our own personal stamp on the boat and make it feel more like home, and then just to prepare for tomorrow when we would leave out with the afternoon high tide and begin our trip.
That's that. Brighter already.
But there was terrible weather all day. So instead, we took the opportunity to do a deep dive into some organizing and looking through some of the stuff that was left behind by the previous owner.
Volvo Pinta.
High tech. What are we even going to do with that?
I have no idea.
Our new plan was to get up early and leave out with the morning high tide. So we took the car to a place where we could park it safely for the long term, and then realized that there were no cabs or lifts available, and so we ended up a late night, unexpected 2-mile walk back to the car. It's fun. Let me tell you a story about our day today.
All right, so the plan was to come down here, have this little turnkey operation, and get this boat on the road like 2 days ago. First day didn't work out because of thunderstorms. Fine. So then day 2, we were all set to set out for the afternoon high tide, and it was actually spoiled by a broken Brita filter.
I know, that's a little kind of a lame thing to, but we paid $30 for it, and it's like we weren't ever coming back to Darien, Georgia.
Yeah, and we had already kind of had some complications with the water maker, complications being my lack of knowledge on how to operate it. I mean, we have plenty of water on board, but it would have been nice to have a filter too. And so we wanted the filter. Which brings us to today. We got up, we were all queued up for a 6:30 a.m. wake-up call, and then we were going to head out at the morning high tide.
We were supposed to leave at 6:45, 7 o'clock, pretty soon after the high tide. So we could go out with the current, which is ridiculous. It's like nothing I've ever seen before.
It's like a 7 or 8 foot tidal change right now, which isn't even a particularly bad one for them. So it's a ton of water coming in and out of this thing. I mean, we have a weight coming off the back of the boat.
Just
basically,
sitting, yeah.
just sitting here.
But then we were having some, like, maybe issues with our engine, and it wasn't cycling through water, and the water wasn't coming out the side, so we didn't want to blow it up. So we spent maybe an hour. So that put us going out, like, later than we thought, which was, like, right at where the bulk of the water, it seemed like, is just, like, screaming down the channel.
So we pulled away from the dock, and the original plan was this was a stupid plan. Fine. Okay.
I've seen people do it before.
So the plan was to unhook the boat, and then she was going to jump onto one of the back sugar scoops. She should have just stayed on the boat and unhooked it from here. Yeah, we got that.
We cast off the rope, and, like, by the time I'm already, like, getting the last rope off of the dock, the current has already taken the boat, like, 10 feet, like, farther than it should have been that way. So I'm like, well, I'm not jumping on now. And so, like, I'm sitting on the dock, and the boat's just, like, sailing away without me. And so I was, I mean, that was really gutting.
So then, because this is the first time I've ever, captained a boat this big, we have this ridiculous current, I couldn't get the boat backed up. And so I was going to go down and turn around and then come up and, like, try to pick her up. Very poorly executed on all fronts.
It was so difficult.
It was super difficult. Anyway, at some point in this, one of the lines fell off the side of the boat and got caught in the prop on the starboard side.
Because I was supposed to be on the boat. I was supposed to, like, nimbly jump onto the sugar scoop, run up, tidy all of the ropes like a professional, and we were going to sail off into the sunrise. But without that second part, actually me jumping on and tidying up all the ropes, one of them just, like, slunked back down,
got caught in the starboard prop, and rendered that engine completely useless.
Yeah.
So,
and from several hundred yards away, with Bryant trying fiercely to motor back to me, I heard it just go clunk.
Yeah, and so I kept yelling, because, like, I just lost an engine. I had the one engine to try and dock the boat again in the absolutely ripping current. So I was trying to pull it up beside the dock, kept missing. Anyway, eventually got it up close enough. The first time I actually tried to throw a rope, I threw the rope and just, like, halfway through it, caught a knot and just fell into the water. And I was like, well, fuck. I'm sorry. And then we had to, like, back it up, go do the whole thing again, which is really difficult in a boat this size with one motor in this current. So we did it again, managed to get the rope to her. Then
and it's kind of tight maneuvering because we're surrounded by all these really big shrimp boats that are clogging up.
See some in the back.
Yeah. And I mean, they're right there, and the current was pushing the boat that way.
Yeah. And so managed it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. You got close-ish. You threw a rope, and with the sheer force of willpower and iron muscle, we drug the boat back, kicking and screaming against the current to the dock. There was at least once or twice that I thought, like, oh God, we're going to lose the boat, and we're taking out that shrimp boat with us.
So the water in the river here is a little more than 60 degrees.
A lovely shade of brown, I might add.
And so I had to go down there and try to cut this rope away off of the prop. Can't see at all what I'm doing. Didn't really have a good knife to do that. So I've been in the water twice today to try and cut that out, but the water's 60 degrees, and so I can't stay in it very long. I just physically can't.
It's like you went down and you started, like, sawing away at that. You were at it forever, and, like, you came back up, and we were so exhausted. We realized that we needed to go get another, like, a knife and a snorkel for you. In order to do this, we had to ride our bikes. We have to ride our bikes 2 miles to the car where it's parked now. And we were cycling out already completely bone weary and emotionally fragile. And this lady walks by, and she's all like, "Good morning." And we just look at each other, we're like, oh my God, it's still morning. I feel like I've lived a week already today. It was so much.
So we get the snorkel, and even with the snorkel on, I can't, like, I can barely kind of reach and keep the snorkel above. So while I'm down there sawing on this thing, it's like I'm always just on the verge of drowning. So I'm, like, at full extension in cold water with a rope tied onto me so that I don't get drug away in the current.
Still fighting that current.
So she's holding on to me so that I don't literally just get drugged up the river in the current. And, like, every about 5th or 6th breath, some water will come into the snorkel and I half drown and then cough it all out and then, like, reaching under it. It's like trying to, I don't know, like field dress an animal that is at arm's reach in the frozen wilderness while you're almost drowning.
In
It's
the
a lot
pitch
of fun.
black.
Oh yeah, in the pitch black.
Oh, you
'cause
can't forget that.
I can't see anything at all. It's all by feel. I'm like the pinball wizard. And after 2 attempts at that, 3 attempts, I don't know. I think 3 attempts now.
Yeah, 3.
We went to try and get a wetsuit, which apparently you can't buy around here. So
We got something else
so
instead.
we got rum, and I'm going to not have hypothermia for tonight, and we'll get up and try to find a wetsuit tomorrow. Making the 5th day of our adventure still in port. 4th day, 5th day, I don't know.
Like 17 days.
Yeah, pretty sure it's April 47th now.